Hi everyone, I'm back. Yes, this is Gregoire, aka Greg from Greg's Whiskey Guide YouTube channel here. I've been challenged by Chris from the Last Drop YouTube channel to continue the Support Your Local challenge that Andrew from Prestige Liquid WW from Australia launched a few weeks ago. A very cool idea to support your local whiskey distilleries. Then he said also we can quote breweries, wineries, everything we want that's local. I was a bit annoyed by that because I haven't completed really as I should, but it's a question of choice, a question of opportunities. My collection of French whiskies, though I put some behind me of them, I'm extending it currently. I'm trying. I have 5 different whiskey distilleries from at this point. French, I mean whiskey distilleries, but for me it's not enough to be representative of a French production, and even 3, I struggle to choose 3. I often quoted the 3 same in my different videos or live shows. I would like to be more, just do more justice to the others, so I'm currently expanding my collection little by little because it costs some money in order to have to the end of the year maybe 10 different distilleries, 1 bottle at least when it's interesting, more if I can, to be able to do a rundown of French whiskies that could be decent, in my opinion, before the end of the year. So I decided not to pick whiskies from my local area, but as honorable mentions, because production is very recent and some haven't released their whiskies yet, or they still need some time, but I'm gonna mention 2 symbolically, let's say. The first one, for more than 100 years in Paris, yes, in a cellar under Paris, in the heart of Paris, there is La Distillerie de Paris. So this one here, from Nicolas Jules, which is a few years ago he experimented using a kind of lemon still, column still, with rectifiers coupled with a pot still, and it does a lot of things: maple syrup, some kind of bourbon, single malt, rum, vodka, gin, etc. from these. Also another one that it's in my area, a bit in outside Paris, in the suburbs, La Distillerie d'Île-de-France. All this is in Whiskey Magazine France. So these are craft distilleries, obviously. As you can see, the size of the still is very small. So there's nothing ready yet, but this is for the local and whiskey. So I'm not gonna pick out whiskey, but French spirits rather quickly. I'm gonna focus on 3 because I don't want to be too long. I'm just gonna also the question was maybe to pick up shops. I forgot to say, sorry. Problem with shops, the local one, they can be supermarket inside a mall, a gigantic mall. I have the chance to have a big shop there with dozens of meters of spirits, including whiskey and other things. I could do a video there, but what's the point in promoting a big scale multinational or something like that? I might do it just for fun, but not in that support your local challenge. Same, there are two other shops I will just mention, Cellier de Courcelles and Julien de Savignac, Le Valois, which are close to my place. These guys do a beautiful job promoting whiskies. They have around, for the smaller one, 30 to 50 whiskies and then other spirits. And for the Julien de Savignac, which is a channel, but a small channel, around 200 whiskies maybe. And we have also Le Comptoir Irlandais, which is a big channel, but they do a nice job of selecting whiskies. But can say more. I cannot shoot in their videos. It's too small, it's too complicated with the customers that don't want to be on camera, so I prefer not to do that and talk to you about some spirit. So enough disclaimers and introduction. Before I pick up three spirits, I've chosen three spirits instead of three bottlings, etc. Of course, I have to speak very quickly about one of our pride, is the eau de vie from fruit. So fruit distilled. Of course, there's Calvados, but there's the beginning. This is Mirabelle Plume, so it's a kind of prune, and this is not aged. This is made by Philippe Schaeffer from the Alsace area on the east of France, and this beautiful 45% ABV, which is perfect for fruit eau de vie, very fragrant. From the same company, there's something very strange, very unusual, and very rare, which was ridiculously underpriced. Vieux Mar de Raisin de Pinot Noir, which is the Pinot Noir wine, but distilled like a grappa, if you like, and then aged. This one was aged 28 years old. During 28 years. So it's not the best cask, it's not as stunning as 28 years old well-made whiskey, but it's still interesting, and it comes from the Pinot Noir grape, which is a bit rare, I have to say. So these are some kinds of honorable mentions. Of course, I cannot not mention, but this deserves a whole topic in itself, our tradition in France of rums, and especially rhum agricole, which has a lot of regulations that are very strict, very tight, much more than for any other kind of rum, I have to say. So we have, for instance, from Martinique Island, we have St. James XO, which is a beautiful, affordable, around 30 euros whiskey rum. But that could please to whiskey amateurs, so that's why. Of course, it all starts, and it's another distillery, Trois-Rivières, with white rum, which is a lot of used in cocktails, and traditionally with salt and lemon and stuff by the local. And there's other brands. So this one is De Paz from La Martinique as well. But these are not the ones I want to highlight. I want to highlight, to start with, something that you might not be familiar with if you're English spoken people and not from France. It's whiskey. Sorry, whiskey's in my mind. Yeah, have to go back to whiskey reviews. Sorry. Which is something which for me was very important, to switch from very heavy sugared liquor, if this one has some sugar in it, too much in my opinion, but this is a strong product because it has 27 botanical and spices in it. It's a very old tradition recipe, secret even. It's copyrighted, anything. So it's the Benedictine. So the Benedictine, which goes back to what they say here. Yeah, 1510. So 16th 16th century, and it's made in Fécamp. Fécamp is close to Étretat, which is on the north of France, a coastal region. And why I speak about this, because it's a beautiful digestive drink at 40% ABV. There's some versions that are a bit higher. They have a single cask at the distillery, which is not a single cask, but it's interestingly smaller batch, let's say, 43%. I have it, but I have not much left. You can pick it up only at the distillery. So I have this book which they sell there, explaining the story of this liqueur. For those who wonder, it is a bit close to Chartreuse, which is another famous liquor from France. These are almost medicine to help you digest. Of course, drink responsibly. You put a small amount in a glass before, if you have some stomach trouble and stuff. Whiskey is good for that also, but the Benedictine with all these botanicals is very useful for that. The other interesting thing, let me see if I can find, yeah, very particular stills they have, as you can see. It's a huge distillery, originally driven by monks, the Benedictine order, but it has been included now in a crazy Baroque style palace. Let's see if I can find a picture in there. Yeah, it's black and white. It's not very. Yeah. There's a beautiful picture of it. So this is some crazy thing that a guy named Alexander the Big, the Great. No, not the same, because it's 18th, 19th century. He did this palace in Fécamp to integrate the distillery, plus a museum of medieval art, plus an old library, plus some rooms for contemporary art exhibitions. So it's absolutely crazy. Can you believe this is one of the rooms from this palace? And this you can visit for not very expensive. Almost any time of the year. You can try the Benedictine neat or in cocktail, and what impressed me very much and was very important for my history of discovering spirits is that when you visit, well, they have changed a bit things now, but it's still interesting. But in the beginning you could took things and smell them and put them into place. Now with all these things happening, health issues, you cannot do that. But at least you can see ranks of spices and botanicals. You can have some disposals to breathe the single aroma, and you can also learn the virtues, the medicinal virtues of each botanical and spice. And then you get to try all this. It's very interesting to help you build a sensorial memory bank of different aromas. So I really recommend a visit. This is beautiful. This is maybe a few hundred meters from the sea. So you can do a whole ballad to visit. We'll see some art in the same place, go into a nice patio and have a drink there. You can visit also there's an old museum about fishermen there. There was a big fisherman tradition. Yeah, so Benedictine, yeah, helped me understand complex spirits. So it's very important in my own history. Then, of course, this is the kind of SWA equivalent of the BNYC office. There you can find a lot of information online. I will put this online as well. And basically this is France map, and here the small round is this, which are the areas of Cognac. So I'm going to speak about Cognac and Armagnac, which is my two other picks for today, and Armagnac is down there somewhere, or here, a few 300 kilometers below. So these are the areas, the official areas of Cognac. There's some regulations about this. So basically, Cognac, you distill twice wine, grapes, and you have the right to add sugar, saccharose brut, raw saccharose. You have the right to add caramel, so caramel essence, so E150A. You have the right to add essence de boisé, which is some kind of liquid oak. But not all the producers, fortunately, do that. And other kind of regulations. In these, all these you can find. There's a picture of the area. All these you can find in online, and I will add a link so you know more about cognacs. I'm not going to be super long with examples because I see time is running out. But basically, the interest in cognac is you're going to have interesting flavors that are coming into the sherried whiskies area. And if you take a very old cognac and a very old, let's say, Speyside sherried whiskey, I'm not sure you might, if it's an authentic cognac with not much additives in there, I'm not sure you're gonna do the difference between the two flavor-wise. And same for some other kinds of whiskies. But also the interesting thing is for 20-30 euros you can have a decent cognac like this, the Camus VS. And yeah, VSOP, all that, the denominations for age you're gonna find in the links below. So I might do a specific video someday, and probably a live about cognac, that's for sure. Alexandre, who came earlier on about German whiskies, agrees to do a live with me in English, because I know there's a lot of you guys interested by the topic. So it has been postponed with all that happened for me and for different things in the news, but we're gonna do that. I don't know when. I'm just starting things over. So yeah, you have some cheap ones, but nice, decent ones. You have from another brand, Abécassis, which is the Lera brand, but it's Abécassis as well. The XO Old Reserve, XO Extra Old previously was 6 years old and over cognacs, and now since 1 year or two they've decided it must be 10 years old at least. So this one is sweet, 40% ABV. It's not gonna blow your mind, but it's a nice introductory cognac for those who don't know. Another at 40%, but more interesting and no additives, I've been told. It's the Ragno Sabourin XO, number 25, it's the name. It's not 25 years old, but there are a lot of older whiskies in there. Older than 10 years old, I mean. Then what's interesting, it's when you go, and I visited this domain, vallein-tercinier, family-owned cognac. It's the Odyssée 2000. Finbois is the name of the parcel. It's around 13 years old, and it's 46% ABV, no additives. It's a stunner, and in these you can find absolutely exuberant floral notes, absolutely gorgeous fruity, orangey, peach, etc. Fruity notes. You can find some gentle oak, some nice spices, baking spices, as we say in the US. Another last example is the independent butler Guilhem Gros-Perrin. Jean Gros-Perrin is the father, and Guilhem is now continuing the work. I've been there as well as for vallein-tercinier. I've been in his lab where he blends his different parcels of cognac he buys from families and different sources, but mostly from families. And also I've been blending with him, and I have the results home on a special session where we blended up to 41 years old cognacs. And I have an older cognac than this one. And the other particularity is that there's a lot of information, legal information, certifications about the age, the vintages, and also it is 50.2 ABV, because most of them, not all, are in this range, are cask strength or batch strength when the several parcels gathered together. That means also when you taste them, if you're expecting a sugary, very melted, blended, and neutral or bland cognac, like you have a lot of brands in the supermarket shelves, low shelves. No, it is not. It is flavorful. It has some particularities. It can be herbal, it can be fruity, floral, it can be very strong on spices, it can be sweeter, it can be a lot of things. Don't have the time now, but as I said, we'll go back another time. Yeah, it's still Greg talking too much, I know. Armagnac. Let's go to Armagnac now. Armagnac is, like I said, a bit it's some kilometers under the area I showed you. Mont-de-Marsan is the main town. Distilled once, only one time, and from wine grape as well. I didn't mention them, but it's Bacot, Hunier Blanc, the main varieties. It's not exactly the same for cognac, but we'll get back to it. What can I show you? I think, yeah, this kind of different still, some kind of pot still, but with some condensers. About aromatic profile, when the Armagnac and cognacs are very old, once again, it's difficult to distinguish them from some kind of very typical whiskies. But I have some, I think it's 19 years old, I don't remember. Yeah, 19 years old Armagnac, low bad to start with. This is beautifully packaged with a box like this. This is 50 cl only, and this is the most easy to find Armagnac. Bar Armagnac, by the way, it's down. Because this is a massively productive, if I may say, and also the interesting thing is that many retailer shops you can find your own vintage. They have almost every vintage since the, let's say, World War II. So if you want to do a gift, it's one of the most interesting brands, because you're not gonna explode your wallet. It's still affordable. Okay, I guess there, it's not an information, it's a guess. When I try, and I heard of, there's some additives in there, but it's still very pleasant and very nice introductory. 40% obviously for most of them. Armagnac, to start your journey in Armagnac. Then you have, for me, the brand, one of the brands that are the most impressive ever, and it's a family, many generations, Darros, Francis Darros, but also this is a family. They have a chef called Darose as well, a woman. So it's a family that's very implicated in gastronomy in France. You have age statements in Darose: 8 years old, 12 years old, 20, 30, 40, 50. I tried a 50 years old, it's very nice. The younger ones are interesting as well, and absolutely great values: 50, 60, 70 euros. Can you imagine that for a 20 or 30 years old in Scotch? Not sure. This one is part of a series where they pick vintages from different domains of parcels they get, and they watch after the maturation in their own warehouses. And this is a 23 years old Domaine de Bertruc, and this is an absolute stunner. This is made from Uni Blanc and Baco. Continuous continuous still, which is also a particularity. And this is bottled at 48% ABV, which is really very expressive. If you don't have a 40 years old Speyside sherry whiskey, this one could do the job, even if it's slightly different. Another independent bottler, Baron du Prada. Baron du Prada uses no additives in his Armagnacs. This is a 35 years old, vintage 1976. And I had this one for around 115 euros a few years ago, if I remember well. This first release was at 44%. I have a smaller bottle of a 46 or 45, I don't remember. Same vintage, slightly different taste. This is all about oak, but also all about nice tannins, very melted tannins, very dark fruit, ripe fruit. Let me not gonna try any today, but oh my god, yeah, prunes, dates, damson, a lot of dark fruits. This is a stunner as well, and what's interesting in this brand, you might not find it easily. You have to go in some different spirit shows. They have wheat samples, 6CL samples for every spirit show or food show, bigger show. They attend to. What I like in their brand, and I want to highlight, is that they have 70CL bottles. They will, for instance, present you 12 or 15 bottles of what they do, starting from 30-40 euros. And for each one, they will present to you, you can smell it. There's glasses on the stand. You can, if you like it, of course, it's not advertising, it's just I'm explaining a huge opportunity there. You can pick up 70CL bottles, 35CL bottles, half bottle, or if you want to try before you buy, if I may say, you can try them all on the stand, but you have also for each expressions up to 35 years old or more, a sample of 6CL you can buy, so makes things much more affordable and interesting. And also, if you want to do a rundown yourself of the samples, though I have some to assess still, apologies, I'm late on other spirits reviews. So that's it. And who I'm gonna challenge on my side for support your local, I want to challenge Mark Hoffman from Whiskey Whistle, from Canada. I pick up 3 different countries for that. Mark Dermul, which has very recently discovered his channel from Belgium. Mark Dermul, Hope I didn't butcher your name. And also Eric from the USA from Malt Muser Whiskey Reviews. So I'll put the links down below so you can discover, if you don't know yet, that channel. And hope this will find them well, and I'm very curious of what they're gonna pick up. Thank you very much. I hope it was interesting, and take care, and see you for some more very soon. Bye bye.